As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Obunga finds a bow, some arrows and a quiver. Jake Paul runs away from a cornucopia. My mother stayed at the cornucopia for resources. David Tennant runs away into the TARDIS. The janitor grabs a shield from his little cupboard. Huge man runs away from a cornucopia. Bennett Foddy hobbles away from a cornucopia in his cauldron. Edith retrieves a trident from inside the cornucopia. KSI runs away from a cornucopia for his training. Insim snatches a bottle of alcohol and rag to go with CJ and Psycho. Walter White snatches a bottle of alcohol and rag to go with his meth. Death runs away from a cornucopia. He saw Puss and just went for it. Batman knows his limits and runs away. Casper clutches a first aid kit and runs away. He just went into Tesco and now he has to leave. Morbius finds a canteen full of water. Sure, Kingboy runs away with a lighter and some rope. Larry Daly takes a handful of throwing knives. Ryan runs away from a cornucopia. Christopher Eccleston runs away from a cornucopia. Chris Tarrant clutches a first aid kit and runs away from a cornucopia. Chris Walker runs away from a cornucopia. Susan Wojcicki watched AlexIzEre for Reals' video on Lunch Lady and shoots an arrow straight into her head, demonetizing her to the ground. And Withering grabs a shovel to bury Lunch Lady. Morbius tries to spearfish with a trident. Chris Tarrant hunts for other tributes. Walter White and Larry Daly hunt for other tributes. In Sim, he begged Chris Walker from Outlast to kill him. Chris Walker, he saw what a little pig he was, and he kept Insim alive. Bennett Foddy discovers a cave with Jazzawa inside it. Casper, Batman, Withering, and Ryan raid Jake Paul's camp while he's sleeping. Team 10 is no more. The janitor practices his archery with his mop. Kingboy just lost it. He's now picking flowers. Huge Man begs for my mother to kill him. She refuses. Huge Man remains a Giga Chad. Christopher Eccleston injured himself, just like when he left Doctor Who. KSI and Obunga hunt for other tributes. Death and Edith work together for a day, a phenomenal combination. David Tennant, unfortunately, he died trying to escape the arena. The 14th Doctor is gone, the 15th to be coming, and Susan Wojcicki questions her sanity after she stood down as CEO of YouTube. 2 cannon shots can be heard. The Lunch Lady and David Tennant. Goodbye. Obunga and Death tell stories about themselves to each other. Morbius screams for help. Hopefully Milo might help him. Christopher Eccleston attempts to climb a tree, but falls to his death. The clumsy Eccleston is down. My mother and Susan hold hands, a sight which I really didn't want in my life. Casper sets off an explosive. He killed his friend Withering, and even Bennett Foddy, his archenemy. No, now they both go down the road feeling bad. The janitor receives an explosive from Nugget. Edith is woken by nightmares of the troll. Batman falls into a frozen lake and drowns. This is the day that Batman died. Insim tends to his wounds. Chris Tarrant and Larry Daly run into each other and they decide to truce for a night. Chris Walker looks at the night sky, realizing all his sanity is coming back to him. Jake Paul, Kingboy and Huge Man discuss the games and what might happen in the morning. Walter White receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. KSI starts a fire, and Ryan sees KSI's fire, but he stays hidden. Huge Man, My Mother, Obunga, Death and Chris Tarrant are all teaming together and hunt for others. Insim receives clean water from CJ and Psycho. Jake Paul discovers a cave. KSI, what? Casper tends to KSI's wounds. Such a nice fellow, he wants KSI to hammer Jake Paul. Chris Walker, Ryan, Edith and the janitor hunt for others. Morbius runs away from Susan. He wants his film to stay away before demonetization. Kingboy, Larry Daly and Walter White hunt for others. Monkey mutts fill the arena. I like pit bulls, they all want children. Walter White injures Kingboy. Kingboy is down and eaten by monkey mutts. Insim survives. He knows the Lupin strategies. He's cool. My mother is unfortunately pummeled to the ground after her awful asthma attack. She is eaten by monkey mutts. Death. Nobody can kill Death. Casper somehow survived. Susan Wojcicki is immortal. She will demonetize all the monkey mutts. Chris Tarrant murders Morbius. He saw what a bad film it was, and he knew that it couldn't appear on his game show. Out Morbius went. Huge Man is too much for Huge Man to die. KSI has died from internal bleeding caused by a monkey moat. KSI vs Jake Paul will never happen. Speaking of which, Jake Paul survives, showing that he truly is better than KSI. Larry Daly survives. Ryan scared them all away. While running, Obunga falls over and grabs the janitor on the way down. The monkey mutts have just killed the ultimate Gmod expert and an old man. Chris Walker is pummeled to the ground and killed by a troop of monkey mutts. Goodbye, Chris Walker. We won't miss you. And Edith has given up in her hunting ways and is unfortunately pummeled to the ground. She is also killed by monkey mutts. 12 cannon shots can be heard. Christopher Eccleston, Withering, Bennett Foddy, Batman, Kingboy, My Mother, Morbius, KSI, Obunga, The Janitor, Chris Walker, and Edith. Insim convinces Death to snuggle with him. That is a terrifying sight, but what the freak, Insim? I don't doubt you'd do that if you could. Huge Man tends to his wounds. Obviously, why wouldn't he? Jake Paul stays awake all night training. Ryan sets Walter White on fire with a Molotov. Ryan has officially lost it. Casper and Chris Tarrant fight Larry Daly and Susan. Casper and Chris Tarrant successfully kill the Guardian of Brooklyn and the Demonetizer of all time. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs of the tribute's families. Ryan finds and sets off an explosive, killing Huge Man, Chris Tarrant, and its everyday bro, Jake Paul. Casper sets Death on fire with a Molotov. Casper has just killed Death, the one person to do it. And Insim, he doesn't want to go to the feast. He wants to keep streaming Phasma. Of course he does. Insim explores the arena. Casper receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor named J&D, and Ryan collects fruit from a tree. 7 cannon shots can be heard. Walter White, Larry Daly, Susan Wojcicki, Huge Man, Chris Tarrant, Jake Paul, and Death. Insim sees a fire but stays hidden. Ryan is the fire that Insim saw, and Casper has gone to sleep. Insim camouflages himself in the bushes, learning from that one lovely clip of him and Psycho. Casper sees smoke in the distance, he doesn't go, and Ryan finds a river. A tsunami rolls into the arena. This was the river that Ryan saw. Casper survived. Ryan unfortunately fatally injures himself on the debris. Insim is swept away by the same river that Ryan came across. 2 cannon shots can be heard. Ryan and Insim. And your winner of the 7th Hunger Games, the one and only Repsock, Casper from District 1. He has finally won his very own Hunger Games. The 7th winner of the Hunger Games, Casper. We have only 18 more to go. 17 more games to see who every winner will be, and the final game to see who is the ultimate face of the channel. Tune in next time to see the Great War unfold.